Hi student, in today's class we are going to discuss data sufficiency formula. Now there is a disclaimer. The images, text and other material used in our presentation are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concern or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the same. Now step in solving data sufficiency question. Find out whether the data given in the first statement is sufficient to answer the given question. If the first statement is not sufficient to answer the question, move on the second statement and determine whether the data given in the second statement is sufficient to answer the question. Third one is, if you are unable to find the answer using either the statement alone, try to find out the two statements combined together are sufficient to answer the question. Select an answer according to the given option. Understand and memorize the data sufficiency answer choice. The answer choices for data sufficiency questions generally do not change. So, understanding and then learning them will make attempting these questions easier. Let us understand the option statement. So, given option is says that statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 2 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. So, its meaning is out of the given statement, only statement 1 alone can answer the question. Second given option, it says that statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question, but statement 1 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. So its meaning is out of the given statement, only statement 2 alone can answer the question. Third given option, both the statement taken together are sufficient to answer the question, but neither of the statement alone is sufficient to answer the question. So the its meaning become if the question can be solved only if the statement are used together, not if either of the statement is used alone. D option is either statement by itself is sufficient to answer the question. It means the question can be solved by using any of the statement alone. Next one is statement 1 and 2 taken together are not sufficient to answer the question, requiring more data pertaining to the problem. It means the question cannot be solved using both the statements together. Next one. So assumptions are not allowed. Do not use general knowledge to solve data sufficiency question. As you progress, elimination method. As you progress through each statement, you may eliminate options. Just solve for one of the statement and the job is half done. Analyze question in terms of sufficiency. Do not think in terms of what is exact value. Is this true or false? Instead, review question in terms of one question. Is there enough information to answer the question? Basic knowledge, arithmetic, algebra, geometry, statistics, and other topics of mathematics is a prerequisite to understand this chapter. So, learn all the basic and necessary shortcut formula related to above topics of the mathematics. So, what is mean? Mean is the average of all the number in given data. So, mean of the observation is equals to sum of observation upon total number of observation. Next. Median. Median is the middle number when data is arranged in ascending order or descending order, we can say that. If number of observation is even, so the median will become n by 2 nth term plus n by 2 plus 1th term and whole upon 2. Then we get the median. If the number of observation is odd, then the median become n plus 1 by 2th term is the median. So median formula for group data LM plus n by 2 minus f upon fm multiplying by I, where n is the total frequency, or we can say that the total number of data. F is the cumulative frequency of class before the median class. Fm represent the frequency of the class median. I represent the class width. and Lm represent the lower boundary of the class median. Next, what is mode? Mode is the most common number of the data. So mode of a grouped data, mode of the observation will become L plus Fm minus F1 upon Fm minus F1 plus Fm minus F2 and multiplying by H, where L represents the lower limit of the model class, H represents the size of the class interval, Fm represents the frequency of the model, F1 represents the frequency of the class preceding the model class, F2 represents the frequency of the class succeeding the model class. Next, range. Range is the difference between the largest number and the smallest number of data. Mode is equals to empirical relation. Empirical relation, we know that mode equals to 3 times of median minus 2 times of mean. Then we get the mode, which is called the empirical relation between mean, median, mode. Mean deviation, the average deviation from the mean value of the given data set. Now, what is variance? Variance is expected value of the squared variation of a random variable from its mean value. Or variance is the measure of how data point differ from the mean. What is the standard deviation? The standard deviation is a measure of how spread out number are. So standard deviation represented by under root variance. What is frequency? So the frequency of a particular value is a number of times the value occur in the data. Frequency distribution. It is a representation either in a graphical or tabular format that display the number of observation within give interval. The trigonometric ratio, function of acute angle. The ratio of the sides of a triangle with respect to its acute angle are called trigonometric ratio or T ratio. So in a right angle triangle, if angle CAB is theta, then sin theta become BC upon AC, which is called perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Cos theta AB upon AC, base upon hypotenuse. Tan theta BC upon AB, it means perpendicular upon base. So cosec theta will become 1 upon sin theta, which is AC upon BC, hypotenuse upon perpendicular. Sec theta 1 upon cos theta, which is AC upon AB or equals to hypotenuse upon base. So cot theta become 1 upon tan theta, which is AB upon BC, or we can say that base upon perpendicular. So sine for trigonometric ratio in 4 quadrant. So when theta is between 0 to 90 degree, all quadrant will be positive. In all the sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cot theta, sec theta and cosec theta will be positive between 0 to 90 degree in first quadrant. So in second quadrant, 90 between 90 and 180, sine and inverse of the sine are positive and all are other negatives. So sine will be positive, cos will be negative, tan will be negative, cot will be negative, sec will be negative, but cosec is positive. Same way in third quadrant between 180 and 270 degree, tan and cot will be positive and other are negative sine. So sine negative, cos negative, tan positive, cot positive, sec negative and cosec negative. Same way in fourth quadrant, cos and cos inverse of cos will be positive and other will be negative. So sine negative, cos positive, tan negative, cot negative, sec positive and cosec negative. Next. So the trigonometric formula sine 90 minus theta, we know that it becomes cos theta because it is in first quadrant. Same way cos 90 minus theta, sin theta. Tan 90 minus theta, cot theta. Cot 90 minus theta, tan theta. Sec 90 minus theta, cosec theta. Cosec 90 minus theta, sec theta. Sin 90 plus theta is equals to cos theta because 90 plus theta going to second quadrant, and in second quadrant sine and sine opposite of the sine inverse of the sine are positive. So sin 90 plus theta become positive, which is cos theta. Cos 90 plus theta become minus sin theta. Same way, tan 90 plus theta become minus cot theta. Cot 90 plus theta become minus tan theta. Sec 90 plus theta, it also become minus cosec theta. But cosec 90 plus theta is equals to positive sec theta. Same way, sin 180 minus theta is equals to sin theta. This is also in second quadrant. So cos 180 minus theta minus cos theta. Cos 180 minus theta minus cot theta. Same way, sin 180 plus theta, now we move to in third quadrant. So 180 plus theta become minus sin theta. Cos 180 plus theta become minus cos theta. But cos 200 minus theta, 270 minus theta become minus sin theta because this is in third quadrant. Same way, tan 270 minus theta, we know that this is in third quadrant. So tan and tan opposite inverse is cot, both are positive. So tan 270 minus theta become cot theta. Cosec 270 minus theta become minus sec theta. Sin 270 plus theta become minus cos theta. Cos 270 plus theta become sin theta because we move to fourth quadrant. So tan 270 plus theta become minus cot theta because this is the in fourth quadrant. In fourth quadrant, cos and opposite of cos sec is positive, other are negative. Some special formula, tan 45 minus theta is equals to 1 minus tan theta upon 1 plus tan theta, or tan 45 plus theta become 1 plus tan theta upon 1 minus tan theta. If tan A plus B equals to 45 degree or 225 degrees, so we can say that 1 plus tan theta, tan A into 1 plus tan B equals to 2. If A plus B equals to 45 degree or 225 degree. If A plus B equals to 45 or 225, so we can say that cot A minus 1 into cot B minus 1 equals to 2, or 1 minus cot A into 1 minus cot B equals to 2. Tan A plus B plus C equals to tan A plus tan B plus tan C minus tan A into tan B into tan C whole upon 1 minus tan A into tan B minus tan B into tan C minus tan C into tan A. Tan 45 minus theta become 1 minus tan theta upon 1 plus tan theta, or we can say that tan 45 plus theta equals to 1 plus tan theta upon 1 minus tan theta. Next one is if A plus B equals to 45 or 225, so we can say that 1 plus tan A. So tan 4 theta become 4 tan theta into 1 minus tan square theta upon 1 minus 6 tan square theta plus tan to the power 4 theta. Next one is sin square A plus cos square A minus sin A into cos A into sin A plus cos A equals to sin cube A plus cos cube A. Cot A plus tan B upon cot B plus tan A equals to tan B into cot A. Next one is 1 minus tan theta upon 1 minus cot theta whole square equals to tan square theta. Under root cosec A plus 1 upon cosec A minus 1 equals to under root 1 plus sin theta upon 1 minus sin theta, which is equals to also equals to sec theta plus tan theta. Next one is under root sec alpha plus tan alpha upon sec alpha minus tan alpha equals to under root sec alpha plus tan alpha whole square equals to sec alpha plus tan alpha, we can say that. Next, under root cot theta plus cos theta upon cot theta minus cos theta equals to sec theta plus tan theta. Some basic trigonometric identities. Sin square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. Sec square theta minus tan square theta equals to 1. Cosec square theta minus cot square theta equals to 1. Trigonometric ratio of compound angle. So sin A plus B equals to sin A into cos B plus cos A into sin B. Sin A minus B equals to sin A into cos B minus cos A into sin B. cos A plus B equals to cos A into cos B minus sin A into sin B. Cos A minus B equals to cos A into cos B plus sin A into sin B. Tan A plus B become tan A plus tan B upon 1 minus tan A into tan B. Tan A minus B become tan A minus tan B upon 1 plus tan A into tan B. So cot A plus B equals to cot A into cot B minus 1 upon cot A plus cot B. Cot A minus B equals to cot A into cot B plus 1 upon cot B minus cot A. So next one is 1 plus tan A upon 1 minus tan A equals to tan in the bracket pi by 4 plus A. Next one is 1 minus tan A upon 1 plus tan A equals to tan in the bracket pi by 4 minus A. Next, trigonometric ratios of multiple angles. Sin 2A equals to 2 sin A into cos A, or we can say that 2 tan A upon 1 plus tan square A. Cos 2A equals to cos square A minus sin square A equals to 1 minus tan square A upon 1 plus tan square A, or we can say that 2 equals to 2 cos square A minus 1, or we can say that 1 minus 2 sin square A. Tan 2A equals to 2 tan A upon 1 minus tan square A. Sin 3A equals to 3 sin A minus 4 sin cube A. Same way, cos 3A becomes 4 cos cube A minus 3 cos A. Tan 3A equals to 3 tan A minus tan cube A upon 1 minus 3 tan square A. Transformation formula: 2 sin A into cos B equals to sin A plus B plus sin A minus B. 2 cos A into sin B equals to sin A plus B minus sin A minus B. 2 cos A into cos B equals to cos A plus B plus cos A minus B. 2 sin A into sin B equals to cos A minus B minus cos A plus B. Sin C plus sin D equals to 2 sin C plus D by 2 into cos C minus D by 2. So sin C minus D, sin C minus sin D equals to 2 cos C plus D by 2 into sin C minus D by 2. Cos C plus cos D equals to 2 cos C plus D by 2 into cos C minus D by 2. Cos C minus cos D equals to minus 2 sin C plus D by 2 into sin C minus D by 2. So sin A plus B into sin A minus B equals to sin square A minus sin square B. Cos A plus B into cos A minus B equals to cos square A minus sin square B. Cos A into 2 cos 2A into cos 4A into cos 8A and so on to cos 2 to the power n minus 1A is equals to 1 upon 2 to the power n into sin A, and in numerator multiplying by sin 2 to the power na. Conditional identities: if A plus B plus C equals to 180, then sin 2A plus sin 2B plus sin 2C equals to 4 time of sin A, sin B, sin C are multiplying. Cos 2A plus cos 2B plus cos 2C equals to minus 1 minus 4 cos A into cos B into cos C. Sin A plus sin B plus sin C equals to become 4 time of cos A by 2 into cos B by 2 into cos C by 2. Cos A plus cos B plus cos C become 1 plus 4 sin A by 2 into sin B by 2 into sin C by 2. Tan A plus tan B plus tan C equals to tan A into tan B into tan C. So tan A by 2 into tan B by 2 into plus tan B by 2 into tan C by 2 plus tan C by 2 into tan A by 2 become 1. Now, fundamental principle of counting. If an event and can occur in m different ways, following which another can occur in n different ways, then the total number of occurrence by of the event in the given order is m into n ways. Permutation. A permutation is an arrangement in a different order in a definite order of a number of objects taken some or all at a time. So mathematically, the number of the ways of arranging n distinct objects in a row taking r, so r should be more than 0 and less than or equals to n at a time is denoted by p in the bracket nr. We can say that, or we can represent npr, that is npr representing the n factorial upon n minus r factorial. So the property of the permutation, so npr equals to n into n minus 1, or we can say that n factorial upon n minus r factorial. So np0 become n factorial upon n factorial, which is equals to 1. np1 become n minus 1 become n factorial. npr equals to n into n minus 1 p r minus 1 equals to n into n minus 1 into n minus r p r minus 2, which is also equals to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3 p r minus 3. So n minus 1 in n minus 1 pr plus r into n minus 1 pr minus 1 equals to also npr. So npr upon npr minus 1 equals to n minus r plus 1. So the number of permutation of n different objects taken r at a time where repetition is allowed is equals to n to the power r. The number of the permutation of an object where p objects are the same kind and rest are all different n factorial upon p factorial. The number of the permutation of an object where p1 object are from one kind, p2 are second type, and pk are the kth type kind of the rest, and the rest if any are of the different kind is, so it will become n factorial upon p1 factorial into p2 factorial into p3 factorial dash 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 pk factorial. Next one, combination. Each of the different group or selection which can be made by some or all of a number of the given things without reference to the other to the order of the things in each group is called a combination. So mathematically, the number of the combination in of n different things taken r at a time is C. We represent C and R or NCR. We can say that is represented by NCR equals to n factorial upon r factorial into n minus r factorial, and r could be less than or equals to 0 and great less than or equals to n or greater than or equals to 0. So the property of the combination, so we can say that NC0 or NCn is equals to 1, NC1 become n, NCR equals to NCR equals to NCn minus r. Next one is if NCR equals to NCP, then either R or P or R plus P equals to N. NCR we can also represent in the form of NPR upon R factorial. We get NCR. So NCR plus NCR minus 1 equals to N plus 1 CR. Same way, next one is N into N minus 1 CR minus 1 equals to N minus R plus 1 into NCR minus 1. Next one is NCR equals to N upon R into N minus 1 CR minus 1 is equals to also N upon R into N minus 1 upon R minus 1 into N minus 2 CR minus 2. Next one is NC0 plus NC1 plus NC2 plus dash 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 NCN equals to 2 to the power n. Relation between permutation and combination. So NPR become NCR into R factorial, where R is belongs to less than or equal to n and greater than or equals to 0. Same way NCn minus R equals to n factorial in numerator upon n minus R factorial into large bracket n minus r large bracket close factorial. So we can say that when we simplifying it, we can say that n factorial upon n minus r factorial into r factorial, which is also equals to NCR, that is selecting r object out of n object is same as rejecting n minus r object. Next one is NCA equals to NCB, which is in where a equals to b and n equals to a plus b. NCR plus NCR minus 1 equals to n plus 1 CR. Factorial for any natural number n, we define factorial as n factorial equals to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 dash 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 2 3 2 1. The notation n factorial represent the product of first n natural numbers. Important result related to factorial: 0 factorial equals to also 1 factorial also equals to 1. Factorial of negative integers and fraction are not defined. N factorial equals to n into n minus 1 factorial, which is equals to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 factorial. So n of factorial upon r factorial equals to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 dash 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 r plus 1. So n factorial plus 1 is not divisible by any natural number between 2 and nc. Exponent of a prime p in n factorial. If p is a prime and p divide n factorial, then maximum exponent of p is n factorial is given by EP n factorial equals to n upon p plus n upon p square plus n upon p cube dash 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 so on. Formula for calculating work done. Work done equals to rate of work into time. If a rate of work formula and relationship. If a person can complete a job in n days, their rate of work will become 1 upon n job per day. Same way, if a person can complete a work in d days, then the work done by him in 1 day is 1 upon d unit work. Efficiency is inversely proportional to time when the work done is constant. So we always remember that efficiency is always inversely proportional to time when work done is constant. So E is inversely proportional to 1 upon T. So if M1 person can do W1 work in D1 days working H1 hour and M2 person can W2 work in D2 days working H2 hour, then the relation between them is M1 D1 H1 upon W1 equals to M2 D2 H2 upon W2. If A takes A days more to complete a work than the time taken by A plus B to do same work, and B takes B days more than the time taken by A plus B to do same work, then A plus B do the work in under root A plus A into B days. Next one is A can do a certain work in D1 days and B into D2 days. Then the ratio of their wages of A and B are A share ratio B share will be equals to 1 upon D1 ratio 1 upon D2, or we can say that D2 ratio D1. The rate of the filling of a tank by a pipe. If a pipe can fill a tank in X hour, if its rate of filling is 1 upon X tank per hour. Calculating time to fill or empty a tank. So time taken to fill or empty the tank can be calculated using time equals to 1 upon effective rate. Net rate of filling with one pipe filling and another is emptying. If a pipe can fill a tank in X hour and another pipe can empty the full tank in Y hour, and Y is greater than X, then the net part filled in 1 hour when both the pipes are opened 1 upon X minus 1 upon Y, which is equals to Y minus X upon X into Y. Combined rate of filling with two pipes. If a pipe can fill a tank in X hour and another pipe can fill the same tank in Y hours, the part of the tank filled in 1 hour when both the pipes are open simultaneously become 1 upon X plus 1 upon Y, which is X plus Y upon X into Y. Time taken to fill completely the tank when both pipes are open simultaneously is XY upon X into Y upon X plus Y. Combined rate of filling with two pipes filling and one pipe emptying. If a pipe fills a tank in X hour, another fills the same tank in Y hour, but a third pipe empty the full tank in Z hour, and all of them are open together, then the net part filled in 1 hour become 1 upon X plus 1 upon Y minus 1 upon Z. So the time taken to fill the tank will become X into Y into Z upon Y into Z plus X into Z minus X into Y hours. Next. Time to close one pipe to fill the tank in a given time. Two pipes A and B can fill a tank in X minute and Y minute respectively. Both the pipes are opened simultaneously. Then the time after which pipe B should be closed so that the tank is full in T minute is. So this formula become Y into 1 minus T upon X minute. Next one is combined rate of filling with three pipes. If three pipes can fill a tank separate X in X, Y and Z hour, then working together, the time taken to fill the tank is. It will become X into Y into Z upon X into Y plus Y into Z plus Z into X hours. Here A, B and C are called the coefficient of the equation. The discriminant of the equation of ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0 is d, which is represented by b square minus 4ac, and its root are given by x, which is minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a. Sign method: x coefficient, b coefficient of c, x1 x2. So if coefficient of x is positive, constant is positive, so x1 x2 will become negative. Minus minus, same way, coefficient of x coefficient be positive, constant c negative, so x1 is negative, x2 will be positive. Same way, x coefficient is negative, constant is positive, so x1 x2 will be positive. X coefficient is negative, constant is negative, so x1 is positive but x2 is negative. Step for factoring a quadratic equation. In order to factor a quadratic equation, one has to perform the following step. Find two numbers whose product is equals to a into c and whose sum is equals to b. Write the middle term b into x as the sum of two terms. Factor the first two terms and the second two terms separately. Next one is nature of roots of the quadratic equation. Let a, b and c are real numbers and a is not equals to 0. Then we can say that the equation ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. So the discriminant d equals of the quadratic equation is given by d equals to b square minus 4ac equals to 0. So the discriminant help determine the nature of the roots. So the first condition is if d is greater than 0, the equation has two distinct real roots. If d is equals to 0, then the equation has exactly one real root and a repeated roots. Next one is if d is less than 0, the equation has two complex conjugate roots. Next one, relation between roots and the coefficient. If alpha and beta are the roots of the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, then sum of the roots alpha plus beta become minus b by a. Product of the roots become alpha into beta equals to c by a. Formation of the quadratic equation. If the roots of the quadratic equation are alpha and beta, then equation will be formed x square minus sum of the roots into x plus product of the roots equals to 0. So we can say that x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha into beta equals to 0. Formation of a cubic equation. If alpha, beta and gamma are the roots of the cubic equation, then the equation will be in the form of x cube minus alpha plus beta plus gamma multiplying by x square plus alpha beta plus beta gamma plus alpha gamma into x minus alpha beta gamma equals to 0. Thank you.